Hey everybody, it's Sarah from TheStyleBlog. Thanks so much for tuning in. Today's video, I want to do a quick and easy eyebrow tutorial for you all. I want to show you how I pencil in my eyebrows, how I make sure that they are perfectly shaped by a little bit of plucking and trimming, not very much, and then just how I fill them in. So for today's tutorial, I'm only going to use an eyebrow pencil. I know in other tutorials I've used, like a gel or a pomade or a wax or something like that. I want to show you that you can get perfect brows with just a simple eyebrow pencil. So the one I'm going to be using today in this tutorial is the Anastasia Brow Wiz, and this one is in the color Soft Brown, which I feel like matches my hair. My roots are kind of a brown and my hair goes to a blonde, so this is a nice in-between color for me. Another brow pencil I really enjoy is this Benefit Goof Proof Brow in shade 3.5, which is medium brown. I've used this in tutorials in the past. And lastly, I picked this up a few days ago, but I've been really enjoying it, is this Nyx eyebrow pencil in Ash Brown. This one's a good choice as well. It's a little bit more affordable. Okay, so come on in here super close and let's groom and fill my brows. Okay, so first things first, to groom my brows, I'm just going to take the little spoolie end of this Anastasia tool and kind of brush my brows upward. Okay, and now I'm going to take my trusty pair of little bitty grooming scissors here and just cut the excess off that's sticking up out of the top. That gives us a much better shape to start out with here. Then I'm just going to do the exact same thing to the other side. I like to do one step on one eye and the same step on the other eye just to make sure I'm doing everything even. So I remember kind of what I did on this first eye to take it to the second eye. Okay, so I hope you can tell they already look better and cleaner. So I'm going to take the other end of my Anastasia brow pencil here and I'm going to use this to mark where we want my eyebrows to start, arch, and finish. So you're going to take this along your nose, align it up with your tear duct, and put a little mark there, which is pretty much the beginning of my eyebrows here, so that's good. Next, you're going to take it underneath your nose, go to the pupil of your eye looking straight forward. So I'll do this here. And then put a little mark right here. And then you're going to go from your nose to the edge of your eye and put a little mark right there. Okay, and that's basically how we want our eyebrow to start, arch, and finish. So you'll notice out here where I marked, I have a couple little stray eyebrow hairs that I'm just going to pluck because we don't want them in my eyebrow. Okay, that looks pretty good. You see how I've cleaned up this tail a little bit so that it doesn't go down so far down. Okay, so then I usually move toward the middle of my eyes here. You'll notice when I marked here, I didn't really have any hair growth on this side of that, so I'm just going to leave this alone. I usually don't have much of a unibrow situation going on, thank goodness, but if you do, feel free to pluck it, wax it, whatever you need to do, or just rock it. I'm just going to do the exact same thing to the other side now. Okay, you'll notice I have the same situation going on this eye, so you can see where I marked it, and I have a couple hairs below that, so I'm just going to pluck those really quickly. You can also pluck up here if you need to. That part doesn't really bother me so much. And you can pluck underneath here if you feel like you need a little shape. Mine don't go crazy there. I just pluck them as I see them come up every once in a while, but it looks pretty good to me today. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do to groom my brows. We just want a rough shape that we can kind of work with the pencil. Now I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to start kind of, not in the very first part because we're going to feather that at the end. So I'm going to go underneath here and kind of trace the bottom edge of my eyebrow where I want that to sit. I like doing this in short, small strokes that look like hairs. Okay, so you can see we kind of have a line here at the bottom. So I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same thing for the top here and kind of meet the tail with the bottom part here. Okay, and once you notice that you have both edges, you can kind of see two lines here, and they've met at the end where you lined up where you needed your eyebrow tail to end. You can start filling them in with short little strokes that look like hairs. Alright, so I've got that. It's pretty dark. We're going to kind of feather it out here in a minute. So this part's looking pretty good. I really like the shape. Let's test the arch here. I'm going to go from my nose to my pupil, and yep, that's where it arches, so we're good there. So next I'm gonna feather these brows here. So I'm just going to start at the bottom, where the bottom of my brows start, where these little hairs begin. And I don't like to draw a line across here because then I feel like you have to kind of cover up and smudge the line out. I just like to start with little tiny hair-like strokes at the bottom here. See how it looks like little bitty hairs? I just do that until it's filled in. Okay, so once I have all the upward strokes done, I'll kind of go to the top and just do little strokes sideways, like how my natural eyebrow hairs would grow. The trick to me here is just doing everything in short little strokes like little hairs. Because if you like grind back and forth and try to fill it in perfectly, it's just gonna look like a big dark mess, I feel like. Okay, so we don't want this quite as full and dark as we did back here. So I know it is looking a little bit dark here, and we're gonna lighten it up quite a bit. So I'm gonna take the other end of this eyebrow brush, and I'm just going to feather out my brows all the way back. This kind of helps soften the whole look and make sure everything's blended well. Okay, and that's it. That's all I'm gonna do for this tutorial for this eyebrow. You can see how it's sort of not as filled in up here, which we kind of wanted it more feathered, and then it's darker along the tail, which we kind of wanted for some definition. Can you see how this eye looks so much more defined? I look so much more put together than this eye. This eye just kind of looks a little, I don't know, weak, wimpy, I don't know. I feel like your eyebrows really frame your face, so if you can kind of get a more defined brow, it's going to make your face look more alive, awake, and kind of just like it all goes together rather than some like light sparse brows over here. So I'm just gonna fast forward through this part and do the other side so you can see me doing the opposite side as well. So at this point, once both brows are filled in, you're just going to want to make sure that they look even. They don't have to be perfectly symmetric, obviously, because they're on different sides of your face. There's no way to make them perfect, and they just kind of need to go together. So we're gonna take our pencil again and just make sure that all of our lines line up. So I'm gonna take it my nose to my tear duct and on up, yes. My nose, the edge of my eye, the end of the wing, and then my nose to my pupil. There's our arch. Let's do this side. Yes. Yes, and yes. Okay, and so I feel like from a distance now, they look so much better. They frame my face and define my face. I feel so much more put together now. I feel like my face looks defined and awake, and you can kind of see my features rather than, you know, my eyebrows just kind of like hiding my face. A couple of quick ending tips I will share with you. So I'm just going to get some of my concealer on this little bitty concealer brush, and I'm just gonna go on the bottom edge of my brows here. That will kind of cover up any extra hairs you have and kind of blend your brow into your eyeshadow so that you have a nice lifted arch here. And another thing you can do to define and sort of arch your brow is using a highlighter underneath your brow. This one I'm just using a ColourPop one. Just taking a little bit here and then just applying it underneath my brow. This will add a little bit of sparkle, a little bit of shine, and it will just sort of lift your brow when people are looking at you. All right, and I'm super happy with this look. I think it looks great. I think this is a super easy way to do your brows. Again, you can use a gel, you can use a brow wax, you can use, you know, your soap brows or a pomade or anything you want. I just wanted to show you that it's super easy to do it with just a pencil. So I hope you all enjoyed this quick and easy tutorial, and I will see you next time. Bye.